Discovered, this grandma's inspiring tea secret revealed an amazing life-changing journey. The sound of rain pattering against the window mingled with the comforting warmth radiating from the tea shop. Eleanor, with her silver hair neatly tied up, greeted every customer with a radiant smile that could brighten even the grayest of Ohio afternoons. For decades, her tea shop had stood as a beacon of community spirit, but now, as ominous bills loomed over her little sanctuary, her heart sank with the threat of a wealthy developer eager to erase it all. At just 22, Mia felt lost. Pursuing a degree, expectations weighed heavy on her shoulders, leaving her frantic about her future. Every visit to her grandmother's shop was a bittersweet reminder of the vibrant laughter that echoed within its walls, a stark contrast to the uncertainty that loomed over her own life. Today, however, would prove different. While rummaging through the dusty attic searching for remnants of the past, Mia uncovered a treasure trove of handwritten letters. They were Eleanor's letters, filled with tales of triumph and heartbreak, the scars of her life etched between the lines. Each story she read revealed a striking resilience: how Eleanor, a single mother after World War II, battled through hardship, leaning on her community just as they leaned on her. Mia's heart ached as she read about neighbors coming together after tragedy, the support in times of loss, and uplifting moments that reminded her of the tea shop itself, a tangible embodiment of love and perseverance. Each sip of tea had once felt like a hug, and suddenly, Mia was filled with purpose. The shop was more than bricks and mortar, it was a history, a legacy that needed to be saved. Just as hope sparked, Eleanor's frail health began to concern Mia. The thought of losing her grandmother was a shadow that haunted her. Could she possibly save the legacy? With newfound determination, she planned a tea-tasting event that would honor not only Eleanor's brews but the stories entwined within. This would be their chance to rally the community and breathe life back into their beloved tea shop. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As days passed, the tea tasting blossomed into a community effort, friends and strangers alike sharing their love for Eleanor and her warmth through the art of tea. A wave of uncertainty washed over Mia. What if nobody came? What if the developer's offer was too enticing? The day of the event came, the door to the tea shop swung wide, inviting the townsfolk in, their faces a blend of nostalgia and hope. Mia stood, heart racing, contemplating all their stories and how she could possibly live up to Eleanor's legacy. Today was more than just tea, it was a fight for community, a battle for belonging. As she steeled herself, breaths intertwined with reminiscence, shivers danced down her spine. Could she really save this piece of home? The specter of doubt clung close, yet the solidarity outside beckoned her onward. What lay ahead would shift everything, but would it be enough? The aroma of freshly brewed tea enveloped the small shop, a fragrant embrace that wrapped itself around Mia as she stepped forward to greet the first guests. Each familiar face brought a wave of warmth, easing her doubts, yet the flutter of anxiety refused to settle. She scanned the room, where mismatched chairs filled with townsfolk carried stories just like her grandmother's, their shared love for Eleanor palpable in the air. "Thank you for coming." Mia beamed, her voice steady yet layered with emotion. She sensed the collective heartbeat of the crowd, a rhythm of hope. Aunt Carol, with her lively red spectacles, waved enthusiastically, and Mr. Jenkins, the retired teacher with stories etched into his lined face, nodded in appreciation as he cradled a steaming cup. Mia began sharing snippets from the letters she had found, the rich tapestry of Eleanor's life, her struggles, her joys, and the community that enveloped her like a family. With each story she unveiled, a few tears glistened in the corners of eyes, and nods of recognition and sympathy echoed throughout the room. "Did you know," Mia said, drawing them closer, "that during the winter of '58, a storm nearly wiped out everything? Grandma opened the shop as a safe haven, a place where people could gather, warm up, and share stories. That's what we're doing today, celebrating not just tea but this very spirit." A murmur of approval rippled through the crowd, and the atmosphere crackled with energy. A few minutes passed, then a familiar voice chimed in from the back. It was Mrs. Thompson, the sweet lady who always had a plate of cookies ready. I still remember how your Gram held my hand after Mr. Thompson passed. She told me stories of love that made me believe I could carry on. Mia felt her heart swell. This was what she hoped for, a moment of connection that would bridge the past with the present. Encouraged, she invited everyone to share their own memories of the tea shop, how it had woven into their lives. One by one, stories began to pour out, memories like droplets of rain merging into a river of love and nostalgia, but as laughter began to sprinkle in, the ominous specter of reality loomed just outside the door. Every shared laugh felt like a defiant stand against the threat of losing this cherished place. And yet, as the memories flowed, she realized how fragile it all was. Would it be enough to make a difference? The door swung open, ushering in a gust of wind that scattered a few eager leaves indoors. Among the new faces was a young woman clutching a stack of flyers, clearly from the developer, already mapping out future plans, campaigns that threatened Eleanor's legacy. The newcomer caught Mia's eye, and it felt like a jolt, snapping her back to the urgency at hand. We need a plan, Mia thought, sensing that the time for stories had come to a close. Now was the moment to channel that energy, to transform heartfelt memories into tangible action. As sunlight filtered through the steamed-up windows, illuminating vibrant hues of colored teacups, Mia's heart raced anew. She felt a spark ignite within her. Maybe they could do more than share stories. Maybe they could mobilize, rally together, and fight for their legacy. All right, everyone, she said, newfound determination thrumming in her voice. How do we want to save this shop? What do we do next? The room buzzed. Ideas began to swirl like the steam rising from freshly poured tea. The energy was contagious. Her eyes darted around, catching sight of Eleanor, now standing with a proud smile, her presence inspiring and grounding. Mia felt a surge of hope. If they all connected, gathered their strength, they could turn the tide. But would the community's will be enough against the weight of the developer's resources? The rally was just beginning. What did they have in store for their future? The chatter in the small tea shop grew louder as everyone began brainstorming ideas. Mia felt that familiar flutter of nerves, but they were different now. This wasn't fear, it was the thrill of possibility. She glanced around at the faces illuminated by sunlight filtering through the window, each one radiating hope and determination. Maybe we can start a petition, Aunt Carol suggested, her voice a beacon among the crowd. Show the city how much this place means to us. And a fundraiser, chimed in Mrs. Thompson. We could host an event here, get everyone involved. Live music, cupcakes, maybe even a silent auction. People love a good cause. As the ideas built on one another, Mia's heart raced with excitement. She caught Mr. Jenkins' eye, and he nodded, an approving smile on his face. It was clear the idea of fighting back was resonating with everyone. Each proposal carried with it a hint of nostalgia and a sprinkle of urgency. The tea shop wasn't just a place, it was a lifeline, a memory-making haven. But then Mia's gaze drifted back to the newcomer, the woman with the flyers. Pushing through her uncertainty, Mia made her way over, feeling the weight of the crowd's anticipation on her shoulders. The young woman stood alone, her expression a mixture of determination and apprehension. Hi there, I'm Mia, she said, extending her hand. I couldn't help but notice you came in with those flyers. What's your story? The young woman's eyes flickered to the ground briefly before meeting Mia's gaze again. I'm Zara, she replied. I work for the development company. I came to see what's going on here. I didn't expect this turnout. Her voice was uncertain but held a spark of passion that Mia recognized. Your company plans to demolish this place. Mia nearly choked on the words, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. It belongs to this community. It means everything to us. Zara shifted uncomfortably, her fingers brushing over the flyers. I know. But it's not just a simple decision. I can't change it. But maybe I can help you understand the bigger picture. Mia's breath hitched, caught between hope and skepticism. Why would you do that? You work for them. Zara lowered her voice, glancing around as if wary of being overheard. I do, but I believe in community too. We can find a middle ground, figure out if there's a way to save this place, to keep it part of the town's fabric. Just as Mia opened her mouth to respond, the room erupted into applause. The crowd had been listening, and the energy was palpable. The once spirited chatter now shifted to a united din of enthusiasm. They were ready to act, and the idea that Zara might hold keys to their future sent a wave of allies through Mia's thoughts. Gazing around, Mia felt a knot of intensity, exhilaration pumping through her veins. Zara! You can help us! She shouted, drawing the attention of the room. Together, we can show them how important this shop is. The energy in the room was electric, as emotions collided in an inspiring rush. But as anticipation surged, so did her anxiety. Could they really make a difference? Could they overcome a developer's dominion? Mia fixed her eyes on the young woman before her. Will you help us, Zara? Will you be our ally in this? Zara hesitated, and in that moment, the air hung heavy with unspoken possibilities. Would she join them in their fight, or would she simply walk away with the weight of a corporate agenda? The fate of their beloved tea shop teetered in the balance, and with every heartbeat, the question loomed larger. Would they find a way to save Eleanor's legacy, or would it all slip away, like the steam from a forgotten cup? Zara stood there in the middle of the bustling tea shop, uncertainty written all over her face. The vibrant crowd surrounded them, their hopeful faces a stark contrast to her internal conflict. She hadn't anticipated the warmth of the community or the depth of their attachment to this place. I can talk to my boss, she finally said, her voice steadier now. But it might take some convincing. I need to show them that this isn't just about numbers on a balance sheet. The crowd hushed, leaning in closer, hanging on her every word. Mia sensed a flicker of hope. Please. If you could just share our story, explain how vital this shop is to us, maybe we can turn things around, she urged, feeling the eyes of her neighbors on her. Their needs, their dreams, all engaged in the same pulse. Zara nodded, determination flickering in her eyes. I'll do my best. But you'll need to provide me with more than just words. I need stories, real experiences from everyone here. That's what will compel them. A wave of motivation surged through Mia. Let us gather everything we can. Everyone has a story to tell. She glanced around, seeing familiar faces light up with renewed energy. Ideas rippled through the room as people started sharing moments, birthdays celebrated, friendships forged, even lost loves found over warm cups of tea. Jenkins stood up, raising his cup. The first time I stepped in here, I was lost and lonely. Eleanor welcomed me like family. This isn't just a shop, it's a sanctuary. His voice was strong, carrying through the air, echoing the sentiments that filled the room. One by one, stories poured out, Aunt Carol reminiscing about her first date, Mrs. Thompson recalling community board meetings, children's laughter spilling over during story hour. Each memory unveiled a life intertwined with the tea shop, a tapestry of connection that held them all together. Mia felt the overwhelming weight of their collective memories. The love for this space wasn't just nostalgia, it was an embodiment of their lives, their community struggling to stay afloat in the face of change. Hours passed, but no one seemed to notice as they continued to share. Finally, Zara stepped back, watching the swirl of emotions settle into a palpable determination. Okay, this is what we'll do, she said, excitement sparking in her eyes. Let us create a presentation. I'll incorporate everyone's stories, we'll make it visual, emotional. I'll present it at the next city meeting. Mia's heart soared. Yes. Let us do it. As the evening sunlight kissed the tea shop, casting golden hues across the group of hopeful faces, Zara sensed unity forming around her. She'd come in as a corporate outsider but now felt a tether to this community, a quiet promise to do everything in her power to help shape their future. Yet, a gnawing fear began to creep in the back of her mind. What if her company didn't listen? What if they brushed aside their deep emotional pleas in favor of profit? Mia, sensing Zara's hesitation, placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. We believe in you. This is bigger than just one meeting. Zara nodded but couldn't shake the unease. Would her words carry the weight they needed to convince her bosses, or would they just see the tea shop as another statistic? As the crowd's laughter rang out, mingling with excitement and anticipation, Zara silently vowed to give it her all. With determination etched into their hearts, they had to act fast. Time was slipping through their fingers, and with every tick of the clock, the development decision loomed closer and closer. As the group started to disperse, Mia turned to Zara, her eyes shining with concern. What if this all falls apart? What if they don't see it our way? Zara squeezed her hand tightly. Then we'll keep fighting. We won't let them erase our stories without a fight. But even as she said it, doubt lingered like a shadow. The real battle was just beginning, and the stakes had never felt higher. Would they truly be able to alter the fate of their cherished sanctuary, or would it all come crumbling down around them? The next morning dawned with a crispness that felt charged with purpose. Sunbeams filtered through the windows of the tea shop, casting playful shadows on the worn, wooden floor. Zara arrived early, her heart racing with anticipation. She had spent the night mulling over the stories shared, glimmers of hope merging with persistent worry. Mia was already there, organizing a collection of photos and handwritten notes on the small wooden tables scattered throughout the shop. Each piece told a story, representing lives interconnected by this seemingly simple tea shop. Zara watched as Mia carefully aligned the photographs, some nostalgic black and white images of the shop decades ago, alongside vibrant snapshots from the last community event. It's coming together beautifully, Zara remarked, feeling the powerful energy in the room. Mia smiled, her excitement barely contained. These stories mean everything. I just hope they work. Zara noticed the slight tremble in Mia's hands and felt the same nerves begin to tighten in her stomach. They will. We have to believe that our voices matter. As the morning progressed, more people trickled in. The chatter of excited voices created a comforting hum. Each person brought additional contributions, and Zara loved witnessing the growing camaraderie among them all. They were unified by a common goal, forging a bond deeper than anyone had anticipated. Around noon, Mr. Jenkins arrived with a box, its contents spilling out as he stepped into the shop. I brought old menus and recipes, he said, holding up yellowed papers like prized relics. This is where it all began. We must show them how much this place means to us, right? The group gathered around Mr. Jenkins, looking at the heirlooms like treasures. Immediately, the conversations shifted. They shared stories tied to those recipes, family gatherings, special occasions, and the ways tea had woven itself into their lives. Zara felt her heart swell as she listened. These weren't just stories about tea. They were stories about love, loss, and everything in between. She crouched down and began to take notes as the memories poured out. Each anecdote added weight to her presentation, a rallying cry wrapped in nostalgia and determination. Suddenly, the door swung open, and in walked Samantha, the shop's former owner, a matriarch who once held the community together with her warmth. Her presence filled the shop, and the buzz shifted to a respectful hush as everyone greeted her with affectionate smiles. Thought I'd drop by and see what you all are up to, she said, her voice rich with affection. Without waiting for an invitation, she wrapped her arms around Zara. Thank you, dear, for believing in this place. Zara felt the warmth of the embrace seep into her bones. In that moment, she realized it wasn't just about saving a building, it was about preserving a legacy. Taking a deep breath, Zara gathered the group around. We have one chance to show them why this is important. One chance to make them see. Mia nodded emphatically. We'll make them feel it. As they all worked late into the afternoon, the energy was electric. Laughter intermingled with shouts of creativity, and silhouettes danced in the fading light. Zara could see hope igniting in everyone's hearts, and it fueled her own resolve, yet, the pressure of the impending city meeting loomed. Would their heartfelt presentation be enough to sway the decision-makers? Could palpable love for the tea shop translate into impactful words? As the sun dipped below the horizon, leaving a kaleidoscope of colors in the sky, they gathered the materials into organized stacks, preparing to present their collective story. Zara looked around at the faces of her newfound friends, their eyes sparkling with determination, but just as they were about to leave, a phone buzzed on one of the tables. Zara picked it up, recognizing the name flashing across the screen. It was her boss. A wave of unease crept through her. With a single press of the button, reality was about to strike hard. Would the call bring more hope, or would it knock the wind out of their sails before they even began? As she answered, a hush settled over the room, tension thick in the air. What awaited her on the other end could change everything. Zara's heart pounded in her chest as she put the phone to her ear. The familiar voice of her boss dripped with urgency, and the weight of every word hung in the air like a gathering storm. "Zara, we need to talk. It's important." She felt the room shrink around her, the laughter and warmth fading into a distant hum. "What is going on?" she whispered, forcing her voice to steady. "Sales are down," her boss said, blunt and to the point. "We're restructuring. I'm afraid, we might need to let some people go. We want to make sure our most valuable teams are positioned to succeed." As those words sank in, Zara glanced around the shop. The faces of her community, filled with hope and determination, suddenly seemed to float further away. The laughter she had so cherished only moments ago now felt like a cruel reminder of her own potential loss. "Zara?" Her boss's voice pulled her back, tinged with concern. "Are you still there?" "Yeah, I'm here," she said, swallowing hard. "What does that mean for me?" There was a pause, heavy and loaded. "We'll see how the tea presentation goes. If it stirs up enough business for the shop." Zara's thoughts raced. "So, I have to make this work," she murmured, realization flooding in. This wasn't just about saving the tea shop anymore. It felt like saving her own job, her own future. She hung up the phone slowly, feeling the gravity of the moment settle on her shoulders. The present was just slipping into the past, and uncertainty gripped her like a vice. "What did they say?" Mia asked, noticing the swift change in Zara's demeanor. Zara took a deep breath, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Nothing I can't handle. Just a little pressure to make our presentation count." The group gathered around her, expressions full of concern. Mr. Jenkins stepped up, his eyes filled with a steady resolve. "We're in this together, remember? Whatever happens tomorrow, we stand as one." His words ignited a flicker of hope deep within Zara. Maybe this wasn't just about her anymore. They were a community, a family woven together through shared experiences. As they wrapped up for the night, they gathered the final materials, an array of hopes and dreams tied together with string. Zara's heart fluttered with unresolved tension, knowing what lay ahead. In the corner, Samantha watched quietly, her eyes shining with an almost secret knowledge. "You know," she said softly, "the magic of this shop is not just in the tea. It's in the people you bring together. Remember that as you go in front of the council." Zara nodded, but uncertainty still gnawed at her. Could they really show the world how much this tea shop meant? Everyone stepped outside into the cool night, the sky spangled with stars. It felt as if the universe was whispering encouragement. Yet doubt lingered like an unwanted shadow, silently urging her to reconsider her role. As the group headed home, Zara couldn't shake the tension within her. A mixture of excitement and dread twisted in her stomach. She knew she had to find courage, but could she really pull it off? The phone buzzed in her pocket, pulling her from her worried thoughts. It was a message from Mia. "Let us meet early tomorrow, okay?" Zara smiled and replied with an enthusiastic yes. But behind that smile, fear lurked. What if their presentation didn't touch the council's hearts? What if they went back to their old lives, leaving all the dreams behind? The night deepened, and sleep eluded her as she tossed and turned, haunted by thoughts of what might come next. Tomorrow was going to be a defining moment. But as the thoughts settled in, a single question echoed in her mind. What exactly would she say when it mattered most? Would her words carry the weight they needed to? Just as she found the thread of sleep, clarity washed over her. Tomorrow could alter the course of her community, her future. She would speak from the heart, but could she truly summon the strength they all needed? As morning approached, she realized she couldn't ignore the pressure. It would shape everything: life, love, and legacy. But would it be enough? Zara woke to the soft light filtering through her window, casting delicate patterns on the wall. The day was here, and with it came 1,000 butterflies fluttering in her stomach. She sat up, running a hand through her hair as she tried to gather her scattered thoughts. Today wasn't just another day. It was a turning point. She could feel the weight of it pressing down on her shoulders, heavy with expectation and responsibility. What if her words weren't enough? What if they didn't see the value in the tea shop and everything it represented? She pulled on her favorite sweater, the one that felt like a warm hug, and made her way to the kitchen. The aroma of freshly brewed tea wafted through the air, mingling with the scent of baked goods. It was comforting yet bittersweet. Today would be the last time she'd brew tea in the shop before the presentation, and she wanted to make it special. Mia was already there, setting pastries on a plate, her face lit with determination. "Big day ahead, huh?" she said, her voice bright even though there was a hint of nerves behind her smile. "Yeah," Zara replied, pouring 2 cups of tea. "Just trying to gather my thoughts." As they sipped their tea, Zara felt the tension in her body start to ease. The warmth spread through her, igniting her courage. "What if we focused the presentation on the people?" Mia suggested suddenly, her eyes sparkling with inspiration. "Our stories, our community. It's not just about selling tea. It's about what this place means to us." Zara's heart raced, and she felt a rush of energy. "You're right. We can share how the shop has brought us together, how it's been a lifeline for so many in our neighborhood." With a new animation in her movements, the 2 friends started gathering more materials, brainstorming ideas for their message. They were on to something. Zara's heart swelled with hope. As the hours flew by, the shop filled with familiar faces, all of them eager to support Zara and Mia in their endeavor. Mr. Jenkins, with his steady voice, spoke words of encouragement. Even Samantha joined in, recounting how the shop had been a safe haven during tough times. "With every tea brewed," she said softly, "we weave a little more love into our community." That's when it hit Zara. This wasn't just about any one person. It was about everyone who had walked through those doors, shared a laugh, or found solace in a cup of tea. They were united by more than just leaves and water, they were tied by stories, memories, and hope. With their hearts aligned, the group embraced a newfound motivation. They practiced their presentation as a team, each one contributing something special: words, laughs, even a few tears. When it was time to leave for the council meeting, Zara's pulse quickened. The faces of her friends, her family, reminded her of what they were fighting for. The weight on her shoulders felt less daunting with them by her side. As they arrived, standing outside the council building under the old oaks, Zara looked around at the reassuring smiles and nods. She took a deep breath and stepped forward. Walking into the council room, Zara felt the air change. A room filled with influential figures had never seemed so intimidating. But as she prepared to speak, she felt a flicker of something: courage drawn from her community. What if they made it not just about the tea, but about the people? "Ladies and gentlemen," Zara began, her voice steady yet trembling. "Today, it's not just about tea. It's about heart." As she looked into the crowd, a unit of expectant faces urged her on, amplifying her determination. But would the council truly grasp the power of their stories? Could she unleash the magic of their community in just a few precious minutes? With her heart pounding wildly, Zara carried on, knowing everything was riding on her words. Zara's voice rose above the hum of anticipation in the council room as she spoke from a place deep within her. "Every cup we serve tells a story. It's not just our tea, it's the community's spirit infused in each brew." She noticed a flicker of interest from a few council members. Their brows lifted, and heads nodded slightly, encouraging her to continue. As she spoke, she locked her gaze onto Mr. Jenkins sitting in the front row, his eyes glistening with pride and nostalgia. She took a breath, recalling the moments that had shaped their beloved tea shop. "This place has seen laughter through celebrations, solace through struggles, and friendships born over cups of warmth. Our shop isn't just about profit, it's about connection." With each word, the atmosphere shifted. Zara felt the anxious fluttering ease, replaced by a powerful wave of resolve. She shared stories Mia's laughter that echoed against the walls, Mr. Jenkins finding companionship in his twilight years, and Samantha's artwork that brightened the shop, bringing wonder into their little world. As she spoke, the whispers of the audience grew softer, all ears on her. Zara took a leap of faith, sharing the harder truths. All of us have faced challenges. For some, a simple cup of tea has felt like a lifeline in dark times. She saw a woman in the back who had recently lost her job. Their eyes locked, and Zara felt a wave of empathy. There was a unifying thread in their struggles and triumphs, binding them together through the humble act of sharing tea. Imagine this space, she urged, as not just a shop, but a haven. A spot where anyone can walk in, feel welcomed, and leave with hope, a place where everyone's story matters. A ripple of emotion surged through the audience as she finished her presentation. Zara's heart raced. This was it, she had laid bare their collective soul. But there was a dreadful silence following her impassioned plea. In that moment, she started to doubt. What if she had overstepped? What if they didn't feel the weight of her words? It felt like a precipice, teetering on the edge of hope and despair. Then, slowly but surely, hands began to clap. It started with Mr. Jenkins, who stood up, applauding fervently. The sound grew, echoing in the room, until it swelled into a wave of appreciation. Zara's chest tightened, not from fear but from overwhelming gratitude. The mayor, a stern figure known for his unwavering demeanor, leaned forward. What you've shared today resonates beyond words. This community's spirit is remarkable, worth fighting for. The validation she craved hung in the air like steam from freshly brewed tea. Yet still, doubt flickered in Zara's mind. They had shared deep connections, but would they truly understand what this meant for the future of the tea shop? When conversations sparked around the room, voices grew louder, more passionate. A few council members outlined plans, throwing ideas around about community support and grant possibilities. Zara listened, a hopeful smile creeping onto her face. This was beginning to feel like movement, but there was still a weight pressing down. The final decision hadn't been made. As the meeting progressed, Zara glanced at Mia, who beamed with pride. Their spark of hope was igniting something larger than themselves. Zara's heart swelled, blending joy with uncertainty. And just as they had each made their case, a hand shot up from the back of the room. It was the same woman Zara had locked eyes with earlier. "Excuse me," she said, her voice steady yet bright. "You've sparked something in me. What can we do to support this vision?" Zara's breath caught in her throat. This was it, the call to action they had all been waiting for. But what would it mean for her, and for the future of the tea shop? As questions flowed like the tea they brewed, Zara felt time stretch. She had stepped into something vast. Could they all together shape the future they wished for? Her thoughts raced as she held her breath, waiting for the answer that might change everything. Zara's heart pounded in her chest as she looked at the woman who spoke. The air crackled with possibility. "Well, we can start by rallying more support from our neighbors," she replied, feeling a surge of determination. "Every voice matters, and if we stand together, we can make change happen." Excited chatter filled the room, and she barely caught the nods and murmurs of agreement. It was as if a spark had lit the fuse, igniting a fire within each council member. One after another, they began to share their ideas, plans blooming like petals unfurling in spring. A tall man with a bushy beard chimed in, "What if we hold community events at the tea shop? A tea festival, perhaps? It could celebrate local artists, musicians, and even include workshops." Zara felt her pulse quicken. That's brilliant. It would not only bring people together but also showcase the talent we have right here, she exclaimed. Mia's eyes gleamed with excitement. "We could feature local performers, storytellers," she urged, animatedly drawing on the walls with her fingers as if mapping out the event. The shop could transform into a vibrant hub of creativity. A wave of enthusiasm rolled through the crowd. Zara watched them come together, a tapestry of ideas weaving stronger connections. But a tiny voice of doubt lingered in her mind. These were beautiful dreams, but could they really come to life? The council members began to outline committees, volunteers swiftly nominated for tasks. Mr. Jenkins raised his voice, saying, "We have the talent and the heart, but we'll need funds. Grants, donations, resources to make this happen." Zara felt a flicker of fear. Would they find the financial backing? What if it wasn't enough? But as she scanned the room, she saw the same fire mirrored in everyone's eyes. They were ready to fight for their tea shop, for their community. The woman from the back spoke again. "I'm willing to take charge of fundraising," she offered, her voice ringing with conviction. "I know people who might help." The newfound energy in the room pulsed through Zara. "That's a start, but let us not forget to share our stories. If people feel connected to this project, they'll want to help," she said. The murmurs of agreement rippled again, a chorus of hope blending with determination. Each member of the council offered bits and pieces of their life, the stories behind their love for the tea shop spilling like tea leaves in boiling water. Zara could feel her dream unfolding, a shared vision taking flight, yet, amidst the excitement, Zara's mind raced ahead. Would this momentum hold? Would they be able to find the right support to bring all these ideas to fruition? The meeting concluded with laughter and camaraderie, a promise that they would return to continue their efforts. Zara walked out feeling lighter, the weight of uncertainty still there but overshadowed by the thrill of possibility. As they stepped into the light, Mia turned to her. "You did it, Zara. You really pulled us all together." Zara smiled back, heart swelling. "It's not just me. We're all in this together." But beneath her smile lurked another thought. Would they still be united when trouble reared its head? What if their dreams were put to the test? With a determined glance toward the sky, Zara whispered to herself, "Let us make it happen." But just as that thought settled, she felt a vibration in her pocket. Her phone buzzed with a new message, and as she pulled it out, her heart sank. The notification was from an unknown number. "We need to talk about the tea shop. Urgently." With her stomach twisting in anticipation, she wondered what news awaited her. What could shake the very foundation of their precious dream? Zara stared at her phone, the message sending a shiver down her spine. "We need to talk about the tea shop. Urgently." The words felt heavy, and her heart raced. What could be so important that it needed to be addressed right now? "Everything all right?" Mia asked, noticing the change in her demeanor. Zara forced a smile, shoving the phone into her pocket. "Just an update from work." She had hoped for nothing but good news after the meeting, but dread was creeping in, threatening to cloud her excitement. The group walked back to the tea shop, filled with laughter and determination, and the aroma of fresh pastries wafting through the air added to the warmth bubbling inside Zara. She would let none of that seep into her heart just yet. Today, they had momentum, and she wanted to hold on to that feeling as tightly as she could. As they entered the tea shop, the chatter and laughter echoed off the walls. Mr. Jenkins was already bellowing out ideas for what their first community event could look like. "We should have a Bring Your Story Day, inviting people to share their memories in the shop." The energy surged through Zara, and she tossed aside her hesitation, realizing the importance of the moment. "Yes," she called out. "With everything that has happened, now more than ever, we need to celebrate this community." Days turned into a blur of frantic planning as they organized fundraisers, reached out for local artists, and solidified every detail of their upcoming event. As time passed, the cafe transitioned from a quiet space into an artistic haven, transforming under the weight of excitement and hope. The day of the event arrived. The bustling shop was decked out in decorations, with colorful banners strung across the walls and strings of soft lights twinkling above. Mismatched tables overflowed with treats, steaming cups of tea, and beaming smiles. The energy in the air was electric, a beautiful reassurance of what they were building together. As the community flowed into the tea shop, Zara felt her heart swell. From the corner, she spotted Eleanor, her grandmother glowing with pride. Each face carried a story, a memory woven into the fabric of the shop. This is what it's all about, Zara thought, forming a constellation of hope within her chest. The event unfolded beautifully, stories flowing like the tea they served. Laughter danced in the air, and the warmth enveloped them all as each story shared strengthened their bond. But amid the joy, the earlier message lurked in the back of Zara's mind. Once the room quieted, she took a deep breath, heart pounding, and stepped onto the little wooden platform. In her hands were notes, memories, and tales that would shape their fate. "Thank you, everyone, for being here," she began, eyes scanning the sea of familiar faces. "This is not just about saving a shop, but making sure every one of you is seen, heard, and cherished. Long after we close our doors, these stories will keep this place alive." The crowd erupted in applause, a surge of emotion filling the air. But Zara's spirit wavered as an uncomfortable truth lingered. "I received a message from my company," she continued, her resolve strengthening. "It seems unsure of the value of our efforts. But today, seeing all of you gather, I realize that we've already made the biggest impact. We are valuable, we are connected." Suddenly, she felt a weight lift from her chest. The noise, the chatter, those heartfelt connections, they were the proof she needed. One voice rang out from the crowd, Mrs. Thompson, tears glistening in her eyes. "We're behind you, Zara. We stand by you." With renewed confidence sparking through her, Zara nodded. "Let us take this experience beyond today." The gathering echoed with cheers, and Zara knew they could not turn back now. There was strength in their unity, and she wouldn't let anything, be it a company or a developer, erase that bond. Before long, as the sun dipped behind the treetops, bathing the shop in hues of gold, Zara stepped back to take it all in. This was family. This was community. With her heart full, she realized she didn't need to fear the uncertain road ahead. They'd face whatever challenges the world threw their way, together. Suddenly that message didn't carry the weight of dread. Time ticked on, and as the night grew darker, Zara squeezed her phone tightly in her pocket, determination fueling her. No matter how daunting the challenges were, she'd face them head-on. With her community backing her, how could anything hold them back from the path they were carving together? As they browsed the stories shared and the numbers of hope began to pour in from the community, Zara's heart swelled. This was just the beginning, and in that moment, standing in the center of their beloved tea shop, surrounded by family, she knew that for every cup brewed, every laughter shared, they were reclaiming their legacy one story at a time. Now was the moment, a moment of strength, love, and unwavering belief. Rise up. Fight for what you care about. And remember, subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support this community project. Comment your reactions and feelings about this journey. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support now and become part of this adventure. Don't wait not even one more second.